High quality sound. Every breath, every nuance of the voice and instrument faithfully captured. Any music genre, electronic, dance, hip-hop, classical, jazz, pop, the options are almost inexhaustible, only limited by your imagination. Auralic, proud to partner with Qobuz.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the last session of 2020 Qobuz Live. I can't believe it has been so many of these we've done. We started this kind of on a whim, and I got to tell you, pardon me, it has been a total blast talking to leaders in the industry. We've got a couple more today. Alex Brinkman and Richard Bates are here from Auralic, and we'll bring those guys on in just a few minutes. But in case you have missed some of our live streams that you would like to catch, they're all on YouTube. So you can go search Qobuz on YouTube, and here's what you'll find. You'll find a live stream we did with John DeVore, which was fascinating. What a neat guy. DCS, which was really fun. Martin Logan, Bowers and Wilkins, they introduced two different series. We've had them on twice. They actually launched and introduced the 600 and 700 series right on the show. We had Trent Suggs from the Audio Research Corporation, and Trent had just bought Audio Research, which everyone in the industry was just flipped out and wishing Trent the very best. We bought Odyssey, Exagal. We had Bill Schnee on, who is one of the sort of the undisputed best, one of the best undisputed recording engineers in the world, with over 500 albums under his belt and with about 50 Grammys or nominations. The guy is just unbelievable. That one was so much. I want to have Bill on again next year. We had also Cookie Marenko from Blue Coast, another just fabulous and one of my very favorite engineers. Let's see, we had Klipsch twice. We had Lynn on. SVS is such a great supporter of Qobuz, and man, did they make great product. We had Name and Macintosh. That was a lot of fun. We actually got to take a tour of the Macintosh World of Sound, which has gotten just absolute huge accolades from everyone in the industry. I think it's probably the best branded store maybe in the world, but certainly in the United States. We had Blue Sound to talk about the Node and all of the products that Blue Sound is making. And then last week we had Rune on. It's really been a very killer series. However, if you've got suggestions of things we could do better or things that you would like to see, this is really for you. I mean, I get to have fun, but this really is for you. And our goal here is really to bring you information from people that you wouldn't ordinarily get to see on a day-to-day basis. So we're really happy to do this at Qobuz. We love supporting our partners. Most all of them support us really well. And we think together as an industry, in the audio industry or the high-end audio industry, partnering up with Qobuz has been really good for everybody. So if you've joined us for those or not, and you're here today, thanks for joining us. We're going to have a lovely time today. And I am going to start out by telling you a little bit about Qobuz, and then we'll bring our guests on. So just in case you've been under a rock the last couple of years and haven't seen what we're doing, we've got over 60 million tracks, but these 60 million tracks are a good bit higher quality than most anything on the internet, or certainly that you can stream. But we're streaming FLAC files up to 24,192, and as I say, most of these sessions, almost everything that we're getting these days is in high resolution, which is just a lot of fun. So if you've been one of those that have been burning your 2,000-3,000 CD collection into a hard drive, I got to tell you, a lot of that stuff is available in 24-bit with more metadata than you will ever be able to throw onto a hard drive. And here's the really cool thing about our hard drives: they don't crash, and if they do, we've got redundancy, so you're never really going to be without music. with Qobuz. So we've got several plans. We've got our Studio Premier plan that'll run you $15 per month, or if you pay it annually, you get it for $12.50. I still have to pinch myself even just thinking that or saying that, because that is so much music that we used to buy, because we couldn't get it in anything higher than 1644. And now so much of this stuff is available in 24-bit, whatever, up to 192. So the value is just like off the scale. But if you're a music lover, it's you're in heaven all the time. Let's see. So we've got a family plan too. We introduced this not too long ago, and I love this plan because in a lot of cases, people are turning on their kids to high resolution who have never listened to high resolution before. And even if they tell you they can't hear the difference, first off, they probably can because they got great ears at that age. But if they tell you can't hear a difference, maybe they're just not listening right. So here's what happens when you let a young person with fantastic ears listen to high resolution for 6 months and then take it away from them. It's a whole different story. They'll be saying things like, what happened? Why am I not hearing this anymore? Let's turn our young people on to high resolution audio. It's a great idea. And plus, we actually lost like a whole generation to MP3. So there's a lot of people that honestly, they just don't know. So turn your kids onto it. They may not thank you day one, but day 50 or day 60, they're going to be thanking you quite a bit. We also have a Sublime plan. This is my favorite plan for people who like to support music. If you do like to support your artists and in the industry in general, on this plan, when you buy albums, first off, that are crazy discount. You cannot get high resolution audio anywhere that I know of for even close to the price that you can get it when you're a Sublime member. But even if you're not one who really likes to own your music, you're probably one who likes to support the industry and support artists that are having a pretty tough time right now. And frankly, they can always use your support in this area. So when you buy records or you buy albums off of Qobuz and you're a Sublime member, which will run you about $20, about $21 a month. It's only an annual subscription. You end up saving much more than that just from the downloads that you save on straight out. Like this is a good example. Neetha, we got to change this one out because I've been using it for like the last 4 or 5, but this is a good example. If you were to buy the CD of this, it would run you $17.99. And normal people, if you're not even a member, you could get this album for $21. But if you're a Sublime member, you get this 24/192 recording for $10.49. It's just pretty amazing. The last thing that I'll say is that we really do support the industry in as many ways and as many facets as we possibly can. One of those ways is that we have our manufacturing and society members and press put up playlists, but we brand those playlists and they're all searchable. So like today, we've got Auralic up, and you'll be able to search their playlist, although Neetha is going to put that in right now. Here's the really cool thing about the manufacturer playlists. We're starting to get away from commonalities that we once had, where everybody plays the same thing. It's really cool seeing the manufacturers who are true music lovers. And we got a couple of those right now that we're about to bring on. But you can really tell the manufacturers that are music lovers as opposed to so much gear lovers, because their playlists are out of this world. They'll turn you on to stuff that you had no idea that was even available. Again, another good example is this playlist that Richard Bates and Alex Brinkman sent over the other day, and it's fabulous. I just listened to it last night. But check out some of these lists. They're incredibly diverse. I promise you one thing. If you're a music lover and you got Qobuz, you're going to be going down a whole lot of rabbit holes. So everyone, happy whatever you celebrate, and welcome to the last show of Qobuz. Right now, we're going to go ahead and bring on my old buddy, who I have known this guy for maybe a decade or so. I think it may have been a little longer than that. I first met Alex Brinkman, and he was He had just started with one of my favorite high-end companies in the United States, a place in San Francisco called Music Lovers, and we got to meet there, and I started figuring out Alex was a really cool guy. And then he went on to bigger and better things with another manufacturer. And then finally, Auralic hired him, and he's with Auralic now. So, Mr. Brinkman, how are you doing?
Mr. Solomon, I'm doing well. How are you?
It's been really good talking to you over the last few days. We've kind of lost a little bit of touch, huh?
Little correction, 15 years.
It's been 15 years.
Yeah, 2005.
Oh, my God.
In Las Vegas. It was in Las Vegas.
Time is just flashing by right now. I can't believe it. I was thinking, have I known him a decade? But I guess it has been that long, hasn't it?
It's Signal Path and Era speakers. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when it was. Wow. Yeah. So this outrageous high-end shop carried if it was the best of high end, it was always there. And I really appreciated these guys, and Alex really brought a lot to that company. And even to this day, Jay and Hugh tell me that they're super sad that you decided to leave them. But I told them, hey man, Alex was too big for you guys. That's all there was to it.
Those guys are amazing. If anybody gets a chance to go to Music Lovers Audio in San Francisco and their Berkeley location, little plug for those guys. I love those guys.
Well, I'll say this because it's the first experience I ever had with those guys, and this was way before then. I think this was around 95 or 96, but I had met these guys back then in their old location, which was basically a house. It was really cool. But these guys were making some of the best sound I had ever heard. They were so humble and nice. And I got to tell you, over the years, I found that Hugh Fountain is one of the best setup guys in America. I mean, this guy could make a cardboard box sound great. I mean, the guy's just really good. But yeah, it's nice to have you, and it's been nice knowing you for so long. Thank you for joining us, Alex. The next fellow we're going to bring up is going to add a little class to this whole thing. I had to bring a little more class when I added Alex in.
Understandable.
Now we're going to bring in. Now we're going to bring in the UK contingency. In fact, the voice that you just heard on the little reel that we did to begin with was Richard's voice. And it's like, we're just going to shut up and let Richard talk because those guys sound so cool. Hey, Richard.
You disappoint me, David.
I'm going to go out on
through this.
I'm going to go out on a limb and I see your background. I'm going to go out on a limb and just wish you, Merry Christmas.
Oh, God bless you. Greetings from Blighty. Merry Christmas to you as well.
And for Alex, as usual, Happy Festivus.
Thank you.
We will have our grievances. We'll have our grievances right after this show. Yeah, I'm sorry that everyone won't be able to see it. So, how are you guys doing?
All good, thank you. Yeah, all good. I was just trying to think how long I'd known Alex, and it's not quite as long as you, David. It's probably about 3 years, but that's way too long. Really. I don't know how you.
You've endured, though. You've endured, Richard.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, there we go.
Okay, well, this is the kind of Monty Python humor that I really want to have throughout the whole show. So, folks, if you have any questions, any comments, any insults, we've got a little chat area. Please don't hesitate to ask questions or to make comments. We'll try to get to your questions today, but just on the outside chance that we don't, because really, if you've seen these before, you know that this is much more conversational than most shows are. And if there's something that we can get to that's sort of convenient to it, we'll get to it. However, if we don't get to it, myself or Richard or Alex or possibly all three of us, we'll answer your questions after the show. We'll make sure that everything gets answered. So
happy to.
Auralic UK and Auralic US. Welcome to Qobuz Live.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. Very cool to be here. We love you guys.
Well, you guys prove it all the time. I mean, our stuff sounds so good on your stuff. And talk about a couple of natural partners. It just doesn't get much better than a high-end a streamer and music servers and a high-end streaming service that actually sells downloads. Than I don't think there could be much better of a partnership. So we're really glad to have you guys.
Thank you, and likewise.
Well, good. Well, let's hop right into this. We've got some questions and conversation that we can have around Auralic for around the next hour. But I will tell you, if we get to the top of the hour, just like all of these, and we're still going, we'll just go till it finishes. Or if we stop around the top of the hour, that's what
that's
we'll do
fine.
as well.
Yeah.
So we really don't have a stop time, so this isn't cable TV. It's just three industry guys having a conversation that a bunch of our friends are sitting in on. So guys, let's just get right into it. Alex or Richard, I think this is probably to both of you guys. What's your focus? What's Auralic's focus these days in terms of production and technology? I guess you should probably, before we do this, Neetha, go ahead and bring up the G2 product and just let everyone see it. And then before we even answer that, I should have been more considerate here. Alex, why don't you give us just sort of an overview on what Auralic's specialties are and really what you guys do, and then we'll talk a little bit about what you've got going on.
Yeah, I mean, I think philosophically, in a very general sense, Auralic tries to basically deliver products that help people listen to music at very high levels of performance. That's it. Right now, that tool happens to be streaming. And so we're very involved in developing streaming technology for our customers, both on the hardware and the software side. So we mostly focus on digital sources. That's almost 100% of what we do. If you need to stream music from anywhere, we're definitely worth considering.
Yeah, you have anything to add to that, Richard?
No, Alex, nice and succinct and straight to the point. That's our primary focus and goal, to make really, really good quality streaming engines, if you like. So in the case of a G2.1, it's a streamer with digital output only that connects directly to a customer's chosen digital to analog converter existing system, as well as other products at the other end of the spectrum, slightly lower in price, which are all self-contained products that have a streaming engine, preamplifier, internal storage, and analog outputs that you can connect directly to a power amplifier or a pair of active loudspeakers. So it's really, really focused on the very best quality streaming devices that we can possibly make. We don't make anything else, and that's our real forte. And it's quite humbling, the feedback we get from customers, end users, our resellers, our distributors, just as to how well the products perform in a very competitive marketplace.
Yeah, that's so, I mean, with all the noise out there, Richard, I mean, there's a lot of people that, say stuff like that, how do people really know? It's really so hard with all of the noise out there to know, what's really good. Of course, we're going to, as our own companies, tout the attributes of our own product. But I had asked Dan Matka to come on and talk a little bit about this, not because Dan is like the digital expert of the world or the biggest audiophile in the world. He's a huge music lover, and I can tell you the guy listens to probably more music than most people do. Maybe not me, but most people. He even has a radio show that he does every single week. He's been doing for years. But the guy's a huge music lover, and I asked him,
right,
you've got the G2, and he had, and I'm not even going to mention the brand name of the product that he had prior to this, but it is like a very well-known, very, very famous product. And I asked him what he thought of the difference of these two products. And when he answered me, I wasn't really surprised, because I've got an older Aries, one of the big Aries, and I love it. It sounds fantastic. But I want to bring Dan on for just a second and let him tell you what his experience.
Okay, cool.
Here I am.
Hey, Dan, how you doing, man?
Surprise.
Good.
Actually a G1. I'm using a Vega G1
Oh, cool.
that we were using in the office, and we were using it at shows to demo Qobuz, and I brought it home to try it on my system right before the lockdown, and thankfully I haven't had to take it anywhere or give it back, because it is the most musical way to experience streaming that I've ever heard. And I was early into streaming with Rhapsody when it first came out. It was one of the first streaming services, and terrible quality. And it was always a challenge. The goal was always to find some way to make this sound good, because it's so damn convenient with DACs and trying to get where I wanted it to be. And I will tell you that you guys have made a box that solved all my problems in a way that, it brings me so much pleasure. I've been sitting in this chair for, March 18th, with my, I don't know if you can see.
Oh, you like music then?
My system in there, but you can see the an Auralic and a Hegel amp.
Nice.
Yeah, Hegel 590 and Aries Vega G1. Okay, cool.
And then the B&W
Nice.
803s.
Yeah.
And I'm, pandemic, I'm the luckiest guy in the world, because I'm just sitting here with all my records and streaming,
And almost everything else ever recorded at your fingertips.
and it's my job. So I don't know. It's
So Dan was sharing this with me a few weeks ago, and this is when I called up Alex and I said, "Okay, Alex, I think I'm ready to try a new piece." We do a lot of reviews. In fact, we've got a few coming out really, really soon now. But this, we want to get a Auralic review up there, and these are from the perspective of people. A lot of us that do these reviews, or some of us that do these reviews, are just music lovers. They're not people that have had a lot of high-end gear in their life. And so it's really, really interesting to me to get the takes of really great gear from people that have listened to sort of maybe midline stuff or upper midline stuff, but never really the very best stuff. Yeah. So when Dan was telling me this, not that he's not a high-end guy these days, but when Dan was telling me this, it was like, wow, that's really great that our guys listen so intently, that they have such hard opinions. Like Dan's opinion to me was, this thing is the most musical thing that I've had in my system, and I don't want to let it go. I'm going, why don't you send it to me? He goes, well, because it's the most musical thing in my system, and I don't want to let it go. I'm going, okay, I know low people in high places. Right. I'm going to call that like Brinkman.
It's just such a wonderful component, and like David said, it's a perfect pairing with Qobuz, and it's an ecosystem, as we often say. The hardware and the software and the people who make the music and the people who listen to the music are all of one piece. So
we're just glad you enjoy it, Dan. That's great. That's fantastic.
Anyway, Ben,
Dan, we're actually going to have Dan back. You're coming back, aren't you? In just a little bit.
We'll talk about some of the new releases later on. Yeah.
Great.
Okay, so we'll have Dan back in, and Alex, myself, and Richard will be able to take a little break. Dan, thanks for joining us for a few minutes, and we'll see you in just a little bit. Okay.
I'm going to mute this and turn some music on if you don't mind.
We don't do that often, but we were
Fantastic.
actually having this conversation about a week or so before we started our initial conversations about you guys coming on the show.
Yeah.
And so I thought, last week when we were talking about the show before we met, I said, Dan, look, why don't you come on, because I'd really like to have our listeners or our audience hear how you felt about this particular piece. It's one of the pieces that he's got. I would do the same thing with anything that he's got, and of course anything that I've got I kind of talk about anyway, because I think people just like to know from a perspective outside of someone that's got a dog in the fight or something to gain from this. So great job, guys.
And anybody who wears a Big Lebowski sweater and likes our product, that's great. Did you see Dan's sweater? It's a Big Lebowski sweater.
I did not.
It's a Big Lebowski
sweater. That's not
I absolutely, yeah, I love it. I love it.
I saw that go straight over your head there, David, for a moment. It's like, what's he saying?
Well, sometimes we will have to translate our non-proper English to your proper English, to your Queen's.
So I understand it. Yeah, I know.
Right.
So
yeah. Let's get back
in English. So
let's get back. Yeah, well, it's really funny because the French people at Qobuz are just all so sweet. They're just incredible people. And one of my first visits there, one of the employees walked up to me and said, "Oh, David, what is your second language?" And I'm going, I just have barely got the first one down. I'm going to go ahead and stick with
I just do American.
Yeah, exactly. They say, what is someone that speaks 2 languages? What is it?
Bilingual.
Bilingual, yeah.
3 languages.
Try.
Bilingual. Here we go.
1 language.
American.
Americans, exactly.
All right.
Thank God the rest of the world can speak English, or we would just be in terrible trouble. So, guys, we've got a few questions. I think we can hop into them now that we've established sort of what you are and what you do and what we think about your product. So let's go ahead and go back into that first question. What's Auralic's focus in terms of products and technology? Maybe if you can define it more than you have, and if you've already defined it as much as you would like, we can move on.
Well, yeah. I mean, like I said before, basically we focus on digital sources for streaming. That's about as much focus as we can have. I mean, so much so that we don't make amplifiers, we don't make speakers, we don't make cables, we don't do any of that stuff. So the intricate ecosystem that is the industry is really important. It's important to us that it's healthy because we're so focused on one thing that we need friends in many other places, as evidenced by our relationship with Qobuz, et cetera. So yeah.
Sure.
Big deal. So yeah, being as focused as we are is on streaming technology specifically is it makes it so that we need to get out there and make sure that we're a good solution to people, because we don't do an all-in-one kind of a business model, which is sort of what a lot of companies do, but we don't do anything outside of the digital realm. So
yeah, and you guys the way your company started is quite interesting as well. Can you give us a little history on how long Auralic has been around and any kind of little cool historic things about it?
I can let Richard give us a little history on since he is my senior in many ways, Richard.
Oh, thank you. The company basically started way back in 2008, 2009 with Xunshen Wang and his partner, who started the company basically out of a fundamental love for music. And some of the first products they brought to market all those years ago was a very early D2A converter, a DAC, and a headphone amplifier. And I think the thing that really sort of brought us to the fore in the streaming sense was in around 2014 when we introduced the Aries. I think this is the product that you probably have, David, which is the little clamshell streamer. It's quite unique at the time in that it was one of the very first, if you like, streaming bridges, which was purely there to source music from the internet or from a locally stored music library that you may have on a NAS or an attached USB drive. And it didn't have a D2A converter, so it would plug directly into a customer's DAC. And that was something that was pretty much unique back then. And we found a lot of favor and a lot of friends with that very earlier on. And on from the Aries, we developed the Aries Mini, which was a very small integrated streamer with an internal hard drive option, with Qobuz and other streaming services available at a much lower price than the Aries. And I think that's the thing that really accelerated the growth of the company in terms of it as a brand and brand acceptability globally. And from there on, I don't think we've really looked back. I joined the guys back in 2016, initially to establish the UK market from a sales and marketing perspective, and now look after UK, Europe, Scandinavia, and now Australia and New Zealand, and seen the company flourish in terms of our brand being accepted, as I say, globally, with some incredible press, which has been very, very good. The press guys have been very, very kind to us, and an increasing number of very, very interesting products, such as G1 and G2 series. And as we close out 2020, which has been I think a very difficult year for, well, the world and globally, we've certainly seen our products adopted by many music lovers around the globe, and sales have been extremely good. And that's something we're, again, very humbled by. Because after all, we are a relatively small company.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, in fact, this I just went and grabbed it, but yeah, this is the first piece that I got. I literally just ran over to the other side of the room, unhooked this thing, and brought it over here while you were talking. But it was just such a cool little piece when this thing first came out. And I'll echo Dan. The darn thing is just very musical and easy to use, and I really like the software. The GUIs on so much of the products that are coming out these days are you're left just wanting more. But the GUI that you guys have got, the Lightning DS, is really, really good.
Well, that's a key strength, isn't it, Alex?
Yeah, I mean,
it's not just about having great hardware and software. And in the case of the areas that you've been enjoying for quite a while, David, and Dan using the Vega G1, the sound is something that when you listen to an Auralic piece through your audio system, it's something. The best way I can describe it is it's not an impressive sound. It doesn't have a lot of top end and bottom end. It just seems to relay what is there on the original master to my ears. And I think that's the thing that impressed me in the early days when I got involved in Auralic. That was the first, funnily enough, the Aries, the first product that Shen sent me to have a play with and listen to. And I had quite a few other things back then that I used to use. And it was I'm not just saying this, it was markedly better than anything else that was around at the time in terms of it's just the fluidity of sound, the analogous nature of the way music flowed. So yeah, that was a very good piece. But no, Alex, if you're about to say with regard to Lightning DS, our control app is just as important as excellent hardware, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the combination, I think, to me is what's interesting, right? It's not just, we don't just make hardware and we don't just make software, we make them together in tandem. So they have to respond to each other. And I've mentioned this to David before. The biggest thing that people need to know when they're shopping for a product like a streamer. It's not like a turntable or a preamp or even a set of speakers, because you're not going to be, you'll install that streamer in your rack and you won't touch it again for maybe the amount of time that you own it, because what you're interacting with is actually the software on your phone or your tablet. That's how you interact with the product. So when you're shopping for a box, it's great that it's got a pretty design. You know, we're lucky and humble. Our products look nice, but that has so little to do with your experience of the product that you know, I always tell people, please find out what kind of software you're going to be using before you make a purchasing decision, you know. And so and you know, we're lucky enough to be able to say that, because Lightning DS is an easy to use software that gets you to the music. And you know, thankfully we've got partners like you guys, David, where we can access 60 million tracks. So that's nice.
Yeah, and if you happen to be the Rune user of the group, it's also they're also all Rune endpoints, so that you can transfer or play, you know, pretty much any resolution. Period. What no matter what's on your hard drive, that you've got, you guys could do, you know, DSD and PCM and just about everything, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it is quite a versatile piece. But yeah, if I'm not a Rune user, which a lot of people aren't, I mean, frankly, and from time to time I'm not. From time to time I just want to use the native app. But if you're not a Rune user, then and you do want something that's just got a superior graphic user interface, this is I really can say that this is like one of the best out there. You were going to take us, I think, through some of the functions of the Lightning DS, right?
Sure. Yeah. Actually, it was that sounds good. It was just an experience I had last night. My brother-in-law is a musician.
Yeah.
I was joking with David earlier. He's actually the 2006 World Air Guitar Champion.
Oh dear.
It's a real thing. It was a real thing for Craig. Anyway, his stage name, Hot Licks Houlihan.
Impressive.
And after he won the World Air Guitar Championship, he went on to actually work for U.S. Air Guitar, the association, as a touring judge of local air guitar championships throughout the country.
I would love to do that.
So you know, he's been an actual musician, you know, not like on real guitars, not on air guitars, for many years, and he's a punk musician, and so he's got that punk philosophy, that punk sensibility. So the idea that he would be on some streaming service, because it's just a tiny little band with a cult following, is shocking to me. So when you say 60 million tracks, last night I was like, I'm going to look for Craig's band on Qobuz. So I type in, you can go to the next slide now. I type in the Love Songs, which is the most generic name for a band, because if you type that into any streaming service, like, who knows, you're going to get like a bunch of Valentine's Day playlists and stuff, you know. So yeah, type it in, and of course, you know, an image of him in the band isn't there, because it's Craig. It's not, you know, the Clash. But here are all his albums. I was super sure. I have most of these on vinyl, actually. But so I selected "Oh, the Places You'll Go Wrong," which is the second album there, and it was just shocking to hear Craig's band sound so professionally, like, it sounded so good. It was, and this is Craig. So anyway, that was just a pleasure to like be bouncing around on Qobuz and actually find my brother-in-law's music, who's got this little tiny band. It was, you know, he spent a lot of time traveling over the past 15, 20 years between air guitar and his actual, you know, like, he does full-on punk, like, sleeps on friendly people's couches in different countries, and, you know, the whole bit. So it was really,
wow.
it was cool. It was cool to find his music in Qobuz, you know.
You had me at air guitar champion. That to me is like the coolest thing ever. And I must say, I'm a much better air guitarist than I am a real guitarist.
So,
I can crank it out on the air guitars. I grabbed the Qobuz out of. I was in Paris at the Qobuz office, and they've got this sacred instrument, the Qobuz, which is basically like the first kind of a guitar that you could imagine seeing. You could look it up and find out what it was. But these things were, they were relegated to only holy shaman. That's the only people that could touch this instrument. And it said that when they played the strings of the instrument, that it would prevent diseases and heal you and even prevent death. So, I mean, I went to work for the right company, but I see this thing just sitting up there and I'm going, that's a Qobuz. I'd never really seen one in person, and everybody, oh yeah, yes, that's our sacred Qobuz. I'm going, man, that is so cool. Could I try to play it? Could I pick it up? And well, yes. And so they hand me the Qobuz, just very gently. It's very religious kind of an instrument. They hand it to me, and I pick it up in awe, and I turn it around. I start playing this wild lead on this thing. And everybody's like, no way. It was a fun time, but we Americans.
Classic American goes to France story.
Yeah.
Exactly. Then after I finished my heavy lead break, I hand it back nicely to the guy. Then he puts it back up in its little cage. But it was really funny. I've got a really, really good friend that I kind of grew up musically with. His name is Jeff Sipe, one of the best drummers I've ever met in my life. And the other day, just like you, Alex, I was going, I know Jeff's got some. I was just thinking about him. I was thinking, man, I would really love to hear Jeff Sipe. So I type in Jeff Sipe, and bam, Jeff Sipe Trio pops up, and so I listen to it. I listen to the whole thing. You guys may be familiar with the Aquarium Rescue Unit, maybe, if you're into like really wild out there stuff. A lot of people are, but at any rate, that's where he kind of ended up with Bruce Hampton and doing all this stuff, and it's just kind of a magical time. But at any rate, Jeff Sipe Trio pops up, and then Aquarium Rescue Unit. So I was on a Jeff Sipe kick for quite some time, but it is amazing how much stuff that we've got from our friends that have just put out an album. So go, check it out, put in, your buddy and see if they're on there.
I'm just I'm impressed at how, not just how much music you guys have, but it's the homepage shows me how well curated it is, because I frequently find interesting music to listen to there. So that's really cool to me.
That was the big hook for me with Qobuz all those years ago, was compared to some of the streaming services. We all know the tunes that we like and the albums that we always keep going back to for familiarity, or we just like. But sometimes you think you want to do that record store thing on your iPad, so you flick through new releases. And it's a real smorgasbord, if you like, of every genre under the sun, not just one or two particular genres of music.
And the other benefit is like you get that record store experience without the negatives of the record store experience, because I have pretty eclectic taste in music. And when I would go to the record shop, I'd be embarrassed at half of the stuff that I was buying, because the cool people who were ringing me up at the cash register you could see them just judging me, like just judging me for the crappy music that I was buying. But with Qobuz, hopefully David doesn't look at my listening history.
I do, and I judge you.
But there, I go down some really not embarrassing rabbit holes, but definitely like sentimental, ridiculous journeys, and I don't get judged, and I can find cool new music, and I don't have to ask somebody at the information desk and appear to be an ignoramus. Like it is the best of the record shop experience. So
I think it's excellent at that, and certainly within just a plug for our app again, I suppose. But with the Lightning DS app, you can find a particular track that you like or a piece of music. Lots of albums now, they have booklet mode, which I know comes with the app.
Yeah, that's one of the things that not everybody's doing that.
Love that. So
not everybody is doing that.
Particularly classically recorded music. You can have, it's just like having the CD booklet in front of you. You can read all the sleeve notes, which is a real nice touch.
I was saying a couple of shows ago, I just stopped reading liner notes when CDs came around. I mean, every now and then I would grab out the magnifying glass, or not even that, but you're sitting there, and it's just it's
they were difficult to slide out the case, weren't they, as well?
Right. So not only did we lose
like a plastic lip,
right. So not only did we lose a generation of people that were listening to nothing but MP3, that was literally their own experience. We literally lost a whole generation studying music, studying albums, studying what people had in the albums emotionally. So much of that is conveyed in liner notes and in things that we really try to put up there. So that would be another great benefit of the Auralic machines, is that these guys are music lovers, not just music players. And so that was important to them. We've got several manufacturer partners that are into the booklets and the liner notes and whatnot.
The other thing we did, which is really cool, say you're listening to a particular genre of rock or classical or pop. You can look at a certain album, and then we can bring up similar to Rune, similar artists and other artist suggestions, and that's the thing that takes you down to that that wormhole, and before you know it, it's 2:30 in the morning.
Oh my God!
The endless suggestions, and I think that's the power.
It's not the end either. It's just you have to go to bed.
And I think that's the power of a really good app, combined with solid hardware that just makes it a really compelling proposition. Not that I'm biased, of course, but
listen, here's what you're biased toward. You're biased toward music. It's like you would do that with almost anything. I'm quite sure of it.
Yeah, I would.
Because it is so easy to go down rabbit hole. I got to tell you, it's one of my favorite things to do. It's one of Dan Matka's least favorite things for me to do, because frequently I'll write him at 2:00 in the morning going, man, I'm sorry, I just can't stop. I won't take lunch tomorrow, but I'm not going to be until 10. Boom. It's like, and the other day I was in the same thing. I did this. I got going down this Ry Cooder rabbit hole. And let me tell you, that is a never-ending rabbit hole. You just keep going different places, and it's so much fun. And it really is. That's what I really dig about your company, is that when we talk, when you and I, or when myself and Alex talk, we always start talking about product, but we always end up at the music, which really impresses me about you guys. It gives us a lot in common. Than I would have with someone that just wants to talk about gear. Yeah. I'm all into the gear too. I really do.
Yeah.
Do you guys want a good music recommendation right now?
Yeah.
Okay. So last night, my other brother-in-law, Dave, I called him up just to chat for a few minutes, and he was sitting at his piano. He's a composer, and he was like trying to work on some music he had found. And I was like, what are you trying to do? And he said, I'm trying to play this music by this composer, Federico Mompu. Have you guys heard of him?
I haven't.
Amazing. So he's like, check it out. I'll send you the link. So a few minutes later, I checked my phone, and he's like, sorry, I could only find it on Apple Music. Spotify didn't have it. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go look on Qobuz. And sure enough, Qobuz had it. It's I forget the name of the album. I'll send you guys the link later.
Federico Mompu.
Mompu, Mompou.
Yeah, so you don't even have to. Here's what you can do. We're about to actually take us a little break, because we're going to bring Dan on, and he's going to talk a little bit about some releases that we've got coming up, and then we're going to come back, and we still got quite a bit of stuff to talk about and hang out. So why don't we use this as a little bit of a break? But Alex, while we're on this break, why don't you look up the album that you're talking about, and then we can put it in the then you can send it to Neith, and she can put it in the live chat.
If you want winter music that's not the standard Christmas tunes, this is perfect winter music. It's solo piano. It's amazing. Really? Yeah, it's great. Wow.
I got over Christmas music a while back. I just can't even listen to it. I feel like sticking a neck. Neck every time I hear, Here Comes Santa Claus or whatever. I am one that really seeks out something that's a little less, direct, but still real pretty. I still listen to what was it, Winter by was it George Winston? I think it was on Wyndham Hill Records.
Okay.
Yeah, I still listen to stuff like that, Winter Solstice or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but it's sort of Christmassy, but not Christmassy. But,
Yeah, this is not Christmassy. This just sounds like winter.
right. Yeah, that's kind of the way the Winter
Yeah,
Solstice
yeah,
sounds.
yeah.
So yeah, let me. We're gonna leave for a few minutes, and we'll bring you guys back on in just a few minutes. Alex, thank you. Richard, thank you. And now we are going to bring in the man, Dan Matka. We have got to get you some better lighting, my man.
Yeah, it's a little dark. I think this is not good.
No. We're gonna have to send our production team.
My
We're
screen,
gonna have to send
which is okay.
Neetha over and really work with you. We didn't say this to begin with, but I do want to thank Neetha Veraporn for doing the production on these shows. She always does a great job, and she's such an unsung hero at Qobuz. We're all crazy about Neetha. So thank you for producing, Neetha. And Dan, what have you got to tell us about this week's music from Qobuz? I'm going to leave and let you hang out with everybody. So thanks for
1 second. Why didn't you tell me this was a Big Lebowski sweater? I've been wearing this thing like every meeting, every Zoom call.
because I don't notice that. Alex is a fashion maven, as you can tell. So he actually noticed. I looked at it, but now that he said it, yeah, it's kind of Big Lebowski, but that's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, anyway, it's very warm.
Hey, do me a favor while you're doing this part of the stream. Just abide, okay?
The dude abides.
Take care, buddy.
Okay, I'll see you in a minute. Anyway, guys, Sujan usually does this segment, as you know. She's our head of music here, but she's too busy getting ready for tomorrow, which is Friday when all the new releases come out. So I'm deputized to talk a little bit about the music that is coming out tomorrow and what we've got going on in the store. Let's see. First of all, a guy you may have heard of, Paul McCartney. He has a new solo album coming out tomorrow, McCartney 3, the third in a trilogy that he started with his very first solo album in 1970, just guessing. And this is great. It's available in high res. And to add to the fun, we've got a huge sale going in our download store for the McCartney albums, solo albums in high res. So listen and buy and enjoy. Also, of note, if you're into download purchases, which I know a lot of you are, we've got an ongoing sale. We do these a few times a year, Qobuz Fest. So until the 10th of January, big sale, downloads, many labels, many genres. And as is our custom, you receive a voucher, which is a French way of saying a coupon, for increments of $10 based on your purchases. So you can go back and buy even more downloads and save even more money. So definitely look for that in our download store. Also, something that we put together for everyone in our community this year was the Qobuz Holiday Gift Guide, which is a compendium of product and experience and charity choices from our Qobuz US team that we thought would make really great gift ideas for people into music and people into what Qobuz is all about. So do check out the Qobuz Holiday Gift Guide, which you can find right from a big banner on the homepage of the Qobuz service. Click through, check it out, and I think you'll find some interesting gift ideas there. Of course, we do say, give the gift of Qobuz. You can do that on the Qobuz.com website. If you go all the way down to the bottom in the small print, it says give the gift of Qobuz or something like that, and you can click on that, and it's not too late. Give Qobuz as a gift. 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. You know, granddad will love it. So definitely check that out. And I know David was saying how much he loves Christmas music. And just for David, we've put together a huge section of holiday-themed playlists. As you see with the red arrow there on the Qobuz Discover page, if you look under the playlists and look to the right, Christmas, this selection will come up for you. And there's actually some really cool stuff here. Obviously, we've got tons of indie rock, and we've got the Motown Christmas. And David, I think maybe some of these could change your idea of Christmas music a little bit if you took a listen to them. And kids, always shut off your ringer before going live on a live stream. Something that I still have not learned. But anyway, the Christmas playlists, holiday playlists are as eclectic and interesting as Qobuz is. So I think you'll find some stuff there that suits you.
Okay, I'll check it out, Dan. I'll check that stuff out. And I'm not as Grinch as I let on, but
yeah, listen, I mean, we were going to have a Qobuz holiday party, and David said no.
I did not. I said, I'll attend your holiday party if I can come to New York. And Dan said, no, you cannot come to New York. I haven't traveled since last March, and it's starting to get to me. It's starting to get to my wife, I think, more than me. She's going, don't you have somewhere to go?
Right. Well, listen, take care of yourself. Stay safe.
Hey, so the Paul McCartney album, I've got to say something about that. I think this might be the one. I just glanced over an article the other day that Rick Rubin was working with Paul McCartney.
I mean, it could be.
I'm wondering if this is happening now. If that's the case, I can't wait to check this out.
My understanding is this is like his other two, McCartney and McCartney 2. It's him like at home playing all the instruments, just Paul. So we'll find out tomorrow. It's one of the
looking forward to that.
You can't hear it. They keep it under wraps till the very last minute. So we'll all hear it tomorrow in high res on Qobuz.
Yeah, if you're on Streaming Music Matters, take a listen to that and let me know what you think, folks. I'm wanting to. I'm pulling for Paul. Man, that guy he just keeps going, doesn't he?
Yeah, and he's so good looking.
Right, he's like the antithesis of Keith Richards. Right, they're still both older than like dirt, but Paul doesn't really look like he's already been in the casket for a while.
You know, these handsome guys have got it so easy.
Dan, thanks so much for showing up and doing this for Sujan. We always miss Sujan, but you're a really good second placer.
Not really, but I'll talk to you later.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Hi, everyone. We're going to go ahead and bring back Mr. Richard.
Good evening.
Mr. Alex. Thanks, guys. Thanks for giving us a little bit of time to get through that. We've always got a little bit of business to get through, but
yeah, that's fine.
We're back right now. We're going to start, I think, at this point with a few things that people really don't know about Auralic that we probably should. Things that really maybe make your company stand out or a little different, or maybe even why your products are the way they are. So let's talk about that. I think you guys wanted to talk about the community a little bit, right? Alex, you're on, buddy.
Are you muted?
He's muted. But hey, Richard, you can go right there.
Sorry about that.
Hey, listen, it was the ESO circuit. It happens to some of our guests. You know what? You know about the ESO circuit, right?
No, I don't, but I think I'm about to feel very insulted. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's the equipment superior to operator circuit.
Yes.
You know, that we build into these live streams just so that Just so
There we
that
go.
we humble you just a little bit, you know. A lot of these guys come at you and they're high horse, and we just have to take them down a notch or so. And
I just had this like nightmare that while Dan was talking, somebody would hit a button and I'd be like, saying something dumb off camera, right? So I muted myself to prevent that, and the irony took place. So wonderful.
There we go.
Excellent.
yeah, well, check this out. My dog Max somehow hasn't started barking his head off during this live event. Not that it won't happen, but usually it happens right around the beginning, right around 4 o'clock. So Max may be asleep, so he won't bother us there. So hey, tell us a little bit about the community.
Well, so this was kind of in reference to basically with the community. We wanted to emphasize not so much the community, which we love the community, but we wanted to emphasize their involvement in our product development process. So for us, we've been developing Lightning DS as a platform for every single one of our products. So that's the key to remember, is that it doesn't matter if you purchase our least expensive product, the Altair G1, or our most expensive streamer, the Aries G2.1. Every single one of those products gets full access to Lightning DS. So all of our users have a stake in this game, right? The game that is, what are the features and what is the functionality of Lightning DS? So many of them, because they're alerted to the presence of the community when they first purchase a product, many of them post regularly about their experience with the product. There are a lot of different quote, areas in the community where you can ask questions, get support. Our tech support manager, Noel Verston, he spends time on the community solving people's support issues as well. Shun Chen, our CEO and founder, spends a lot of time on the community. So we're always receiving information from our customer base, and it is integral to our process in developing better and better versions of the software. One of the most recent ones is the ability to, I know this Qobuz won't like this, but if you already own a CD, you can take it and rip it onto your library, bypassing Qobuz's services entirely. And so that's been a feature that people have really enjoyed. You can do it on our Altair G1 or an Aries G1 or Aries G2.1. So all of our products now allow you, thanks to our software development, now allow you to basically rip a CD if you want to. And CDs aren't obviously new tech, or there's nothing new about them, but offering just little bits of utility as the years go by.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with burning stuff. In fact, I still keep an active hard drive, and I probably will until every single thing that I want on streaming is on streaming. But I got to tell you, it's you can't find Roger Waters' Amused to Death. It is not available. You cannot buy it, at least not new. There's so much stuff, honestly, that's not available on streaming services. If anyone, some more eclectic stuff, or just something that weirdly isn't available, or maybe one of the songs are grayed out. Those are the kinds of things that I keep in my hard drive. If I had something like this, I would certainly keep it on there. I think for the time being, and probably for the next, maybe forever, because there's a lot of these CDs that you've got out there, or albums that just will never be on a streaming format. So it would be gauche and really kind of uppity for me to think that kind of thing doesn't happen or have a problem with it. I think it's super. It should be happening. And if you've got a really, really good way to transfer and store your Redbook CDs that aren't available, then go for it. Or you're maybe the kind of person that just wants to do that anyway. You've got 2,000 CDs, you just want those, and you're done. God bless. It's like whatever makes you happy. If you're listening to music and you're a happy camper, then I'm a happy camper.
That's it. It's all about choice at the end of the day, David. Whether you want to stream from, say, Qobuz, a music service provider, or to store your own discs, in the case of our firmware, with a CD DVD ripper burner onto an Altair G1 with internal storage or an external storage, or you might want to find perhaps the Roger Waters album may be available on YouTube, perhaps somewhere. I was looking at some Roger Waters video he did in lockdown on YouTube just 3 or 4 nights ago. I stumbled into it almost by accident. And I just airplayed it from my iPhone straight through to the streamer, to the Aries G2.
That is a fantastic feature.
And you can just, it's that, and we offer.
So
Bluetooth.
you can AirPlay to the devices. Can you also Bluetooth to them?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Listen, those are great features. AirPlay, just so people know, because there is some misinformation out there. AirPlay resamples every single thing that you listen to on it to 1648. So there's nothing native about AirPlay. However, it is a good bit better than Bluetooth. AirPlay will stream somewhere in the neighborhood of 1411 kilobits per second. It's really probably a little more than that, 1415 or something like that.
Which is CD threshold. Yeah, that's good.
It's a little more, like I say, because they're at 1648 and 1644. So it's not much. Probably won't even matter with a number with it being that close, but everything is, if it's a 1644 recording, it's going to go at 1648. If it's a Bluetooth recording, no matter what Bluetooth sounds says, and Bluetooth really has come up a lot in the last few years, and by no means does it sound horrible, but it's not full bit, and it's certainly not 24192 the way that they're claiming it is. And you could tell that just by the bit rate. I mean, I think it tops out. If you're downhill with the wind behind your back, Bluetooth is going to top out just a little better than 500 kilobits per second. Just regular CD is 1411. So there's just absolutely no way you're getting that signal the way that it's being marketed. In fact, you have to do marketing math to derive those numbers. So, but hugely convenient and wonderful.
It's just useful. Yeah.
Well, just like Richard said, he's like, if he's doing YouTube's not doing anything over 320 anyway, not in most cases.
Yeah.
So you Bluetooth that thing, babe. You've either got it right here, or maybe you could throw it up on your screen or whatnot. But it is going to be a whole heck of a lot better than listening to it on one of these guys.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, great.
So that's the way to do it. So, no, the community's, as Alex says, very useful to us to engage with our customers who've bought our gear, particularly in the support section. It's good to know what customers are using, and we have all of this stuff out for our customers to see. If they've got any problems with routers or connectivity, connecting to specific devices where they might be having a lot of problem, we chime in within a day or so. It can be just an hour or so, and try and resolve those issues for the customers. And I think that's really, really important.
I do too.
When somebody has bought an expensive piece of product from us, that we support them as best as we can, because it's the right thing to do. And if they're happy with their purchases, they tell their friends, and then everybody flourishes.
And we were just talking about this, but the ecosystem dependence of our products. The fact that it's not like a CD player. A CD player you plug into the wall and you plug into your amp, right? Our product has to be connected to your home network, and so that opens up all kinds of variables. We have a little recommended list of routers to use, and definitely a couple that you should steer clear of. So those
while we're here, that's a great subject, Alex, because if you steer clear from one product, you should probably steer clear of another. Which ones don't you like?
Okay, so the big one we don't like isn't even produced anymore, but a lot of people still have it at home. It's the old Airport Extremes.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. Those posed some issues for us. And then generically speaking, and this is changing happily in the United States, but it used to be more of a headache for us. A lot of the ISP, a lot of the routers that are provided to you by Comcast or Xfinity or whoever your internet service provider is, a lot of those can be subpar when it comes to the tasks that we ask of a router. And I would say that in general, most of the Nighthawk series routers from Netgear are good. So those are great routers that we recommend. Yeah. I mean, so we're not recommending like some crazy
$8
what
million router with gold.
some like enterprise grade router. It doesn't have to be expensive. It just has to be capable.
So it's been built and designed and engineered properly at a reasonable price, rather than something probably is worth like $30 or $40.
I know that's not an Auralic product, but the internet has become such the backbone of any streaming system, especially if you're streaming full resolution. Do you guys have recommendations for people? I mean, I know that I do, and I'm pretty adamant about it, but do you guys have recommendations for people that are, say, streaming from, say, a Spotify to a Qobuz?
Spotify to Qobuz.
Yeah, sorry. Like Spotify's such lower bandwidth. It's just
at best you're getting 328 kbps, I think.
Yeah, I mean at very best you're getting about 320, and with us it's about 9,500. So or up to 9,500 or a little better. So the question is if someone were listening to say a 320 stream as compared to say a 9,500 kilobit per second stream, would you have different recommendations on the way that they hook that up?
No.
And so what is your recommendation? What's your basic recommendation?
For exactly for what?
Do you recommend wired or wireless or?
Oh, no, we don't. For us, the question of wired versus wireless, since we offer both functions on our products, the question really is, how is the customer living their life? Where do they want to keep the stereo, and how close is that to the router? If it's close and you can run a cable, do that. If it's not close, and you have an optimal setup in your house, you can definitely do Wi-Fi. If both work great, use whichever you prefer. And if you want to decide between the two based on sound, listen to both. And if one sounds better, go with that one. John Darko, for example, recently talked about the fact that he was relieved to find out that there was no discernible difference in his listening experience when he was listening to Wi-Fi versus wired with our product. And so to me, that says a lot about our capabilities. It means that we're good enough at both that you can't tell the difference between the two. Or maybe we're just so terrible at both that you can't tell the difference between the two. But it's nice to have that choice in our product where you're not worried that if you go with Wi-Fi, it's going to be a less than great sound than if you'd gone with wired, or vice versa, right? We do feel, Shun Shen has said this in the past about our products, that one thing that you get from Wi-Fi is that you don't have another cable or another quote antenna coming right into the back of your product. If you can get away without using Ethernet because you're afraid that you might induce some noise into your product through an Ethernet cable, then by all means do the Wi-Fi thing. But like I said, if you can't tell the difference between the two, then your choice is really more about lifestyle than it is about performance. So, which is a great place to be in, right? Like if you don't have to, we all know it's painful sometimes to choose performance over lifestyle. It can make things kind of annoying. I'm sure Richard recently had some of those things when you made changes to your listening room, right, Richard?
Yeah. So changed quite a lot around at home over the summertime, and I took the opportunity because we'd had the ceilings taken down to run some Cat 6 from the router directly to where the audio system is. In fact, I put 2 runs in just in case one failed. And it's been good to have the option of going between wired and wireless. Both work flawlessly on the areas really, really well. Where it really comes into its own has been with Ethernet on some other products like television. When you're looking at Netflix or Amazon Prime, the speed, and I think this is primarily due to what's inside the Panasonic television. Being wired rather than wireless, it's much, much faster running wired than wireless. Running on our streamer, it's just the same. It's just the same. Because both parts of it are engineered really, really well. It's really solid, reliable platform.
It's good to hear you guys say this, because I got to tell you, I'm relentless and a bit of a stickler about high resolution, because I want people to have, because you never really do know what their Wi-Fi capabilities are or where they are in the house. So I've been pretty adamant with telling people if you're gonna stream Spotify or Pandora or something like that, Apple.
Yeah.
I've never had one problem wireless in my life with those kinds of products. I have with in various areas once I get up to 2496 or 24192 because it's not adaptive, right? If you have any glitch whatsoever, you're gonna know it if there's anything wrong with your system. So I've just become accustomed to telling people to, if you're gonna stream full, or excuse me, high resolution, my recommendation is just, wire it. But I'm a real OCD kind of guy about that kind of stuff because I really do believe that you need headroom on your Wi-Fi setup, that it's not at the end of its wick, right? That it's still got it's still got plenty, no problem. And I know some of the better mesh networks now. I haven't gotten one yet. I'm going to get one of I can't remember what it's called, but they're selling them on Amazon for like $300. But it's just a mesh network that just apparently is fantastic everywhere in your house if you set them up correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just added it out. I just added for just being out in the garden and controlling music outside, just generally an outside ubiquity extender. That works really, really well.
Yeah, I hear they do. I've got to kind of update at this point. So it's good that you guys have got experience with those and have got plenty of headroom.
David, having said everything I said on a personal side, I run Ethernet. I run Ethernet for anything that I can.
It's just I got to tell you, it's my OCD. I've got I think maybe 8 or 9 different zones in the house, and the ones that are super important to me, I've got those are on Ethernet. My studio setup back here, I've got a little node running back here, just a little inexpensive system. Downstairs on my Icon system, I'm always wired. Pretty much everything else is wireless, and what a difference that makes. But a lot of those systems have got them downgraded anyway, not really running full bit stuff. So let's get back to a couple more questions.
Sure.
Let's see. What does the future of this is going to be? I think kind of a fun because it's a bit speculative. But where do you guys see the future of streaming going? What are you planning on doing?
Well, my brief introduction to answer to this is basically like, it's a good thing you're asking us that question and not some guy who builds hard drives, because we think the future is more subscription-based streaming and less locally stored music. And I think a lot of us are seeing that happen generationally where
absolutely no doubt, Alex. Yeah.
Right. I mean, I don't see a lot of younger generation folks walking around with USB drives anymore. I don't remember, I on purpose set up a NAS drive just to make sure that I could sort of be fluent in the hiccups that come with setting it up and living with a NAS drive connect to your router. But I would never have connected a NAS drive or purchased one if I didn't work for a company that had to service that kind of a customer and somebody who handled online subscription-based streaming. So to me, the future is, I don't know if it's going to be more streaming services, but I sure hope you guys all keep putting more music on, that's the future, and vinyl.
Yeah. I still listen to it. I still listen to a good bit of vinyl myself when I'm in my one room. I've got a really nice VPI Prime with a Soundsmith cartridge and a little project phono preamp going into the Icon system downstairs. And from time to time, I just love it. I mean, it was part of my life growing up, and there is nothing that to me that can replace that whole experience, that whole ritual that you go through from opening up the album to, I'm one of these, I smell the album, I smell the cardboard, because it's all, that same kind of an experience, that same kind of an experience that you just can't get anywhere else. But that's the way we grew up listening to music.
Yeah.
It's like, to me, it's still very, very near and dear to my heart. And I'll probably always have a vinyl rig, although maybe a decade ago, maybe a little more than that now, I had my whole record collection flooded. And it just ruined everything, all the covers and whatnot. They were just, by the time I got to them, they were literally falling off of the album, and the albums were all gross and everything. So
One of the risks of life in the South, huh?
well, it's just, you never know what's going to happen to your physical media. It could have been a fire. It could have been anything. True. But it's like I lost this lifelong collection, and it broke my heart to such a point that I stopped doing it for years, a good bit of years. I guess it might have been 15 or 18 years. Well, about 5 years ago, I talked to my friend Matt at VPI and got a VPI Prime, and just really, really have enjoyed rebuying. I don't want to say I'm enjoying rebuying records, because God, they're expensive now. But I do buy them and have a good time when I do finally open up the plastic and put them on, or go buy a used piece and put it on. It's just a fun ritual. So you still listen to some vinyl as well, Richard?
Yeah. I've got a Riga, an RP8. It's got a reasonable tone arm on it, and an Autofon cartridge to a decent phono stage, Lima phono stage, running into my Hegel amp. And
you got a Hegel too? Which one?
590. Yeah,
that thing is crazy. I had that here on my desk for 6 months or so.
It's a remarkable device.
It put like a little bow in my desk, because the thing weighs like 500 pounds. I finally ended up sending it to Dan, and he's got a perfect rack for it, and a good little system with his Auralic.
So that the one that he had in his rack just now is the one you were using.
Yeah. Same one. It's a behemoth of a thing, but it's at first it took my fancy. It must be at least 12 months ago, doing a few shows. And we did a dealer event in the Netherlands. That's the first time I heard the 590, and then in the UK, doing a few UK shows. And
so, are those guys partners of yours? Do you guys do shows with them?
Yeah, UK Hegel's UK distributor, Bill Lee at Wooden Distribution.
I love me some Anders. What a great guy.
Oh, he's great.
He really is. And what a music lover.
Nice people, nice product. Not pretentious, just does what it says, and it just plays music. That's all you ask for, isn't it? So I play records occasionally, but I just stream Qobuz pretty much all the time when I listen to music now.
Yeah, a lot.
I like to go and discover new stuff. There's as much as we all grow up at a time. Some of the greatest age in music, maybe someone's biased saying it, but the rock and roll days, the early 70s, Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd, and then close to my house, early dance records, Chic, that era, just great, real music. But there's only so many times you want to hear it in your life. You play it over and over and over again. Great. I just want to hear something new and different, and that's the thing that getting lost in that rabbit hole. You might want to listen to some remasters of Chic, but then have you listened to this and have you listened to that? It'll take you on this trail.
It's really funny you should say that, Richard, because I feel exactly the same way. I'm listening to more new music now than I've ever listened to in my life, and seeking out sort of the best of the best, or the best stuff that I can find. And I'm totally blown away with so much stuff that's coming out these days. If you are in the mode of there is no good music being produced today, you are either way stuck on your 100 albums, or you're just not listening, because there is some just remarkable music that's being played. I'm sorry I had to cancel this call, because I really should have gotten it, because I really do need this warranty for my car, because it's really, really tough finding somebody that will sell you a warranty for your car.
Sorry to start that.
Sorry, I just got interrupted. I'm thinking, I'm just going to let you know right now, these guys are calling me. It's like, they're driving me crazy. Listen, we've been going a while, but we never did get to the Lightning DS pictures that you had. You want to go through those real quick before?
Oh no, we did. We already did.
Did we get through everything?
Yeah, we're good. Hey, that I texted you I shared it with you from Qobuz, the album I was referring to.
Oh, cool. You texted it to me. Did you text it to
I looked that up.
Neetha? That's the one that needs it. But yeah, oh, I see it right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get this to Neetha so that she can go ahead and put right now. Paste, boom. Neetha, I just sent this to you on Slack. Could you put this album up, please, on the chat area? And again, we'd like to thank Neetha Veraporn for producing today. She's so much fun to work with. And
thanks, Neetha. She was
in the background.
Yeah, she's the one who makes all this work. It looks like, the reason that these things typically look the way they do is because we've got a very, very sharp lady helping us, and she's about the sweetest person I think I've ever met in my life. So yeah, here's the album that Alex was talking to. It'll still be here once the live stream goes away, and then we've got a few questions that we can answer real quick. Can we send some suggestions to albums to Qobuz? Today, right after I finish, I'll go ahead and publish a little Airtable form that we've got, that if you've got music that we don't have, you can fill out this form and we'll try to get it. Every single one of these humans look at. This does not go into some sort of a bot mailbox, never to be seen again. We look at every single one of these and we actually try to get every one. Some of them may be with labels that we just don't have a deal with yet, so that may be the deal. But if you've got something that you see on Qobuz that you don't see on Qobuz that you would like to see, write us and let us know, and we'll look at that. Oh, look at this. Neetha just put in the request form. So click that. If there's something that you don't see,
cool.
Let us know, and we'll certainly put some folks on it, try to find it. Guys, we're kind of winding down. We've been going about an hour and a half. I told you it would go fast, didn't I?
Yeah, it went quick.
It just doesn't seem like we've been here an hour and a half, does it?
It's way past Richard's bedtime too.
It is. It's about 4 in the morning. Oh,
Richard, you're looking great, man.
I just hope whoever's out there is still watching and sort of getting some benefit from what we're all sort of just chatting about. It's not a hard push. It's not a hard sales line at all. It's just, get to know us. If you've got any questions afterwards, by all means, email us, contact us, and we're here to help you with our dealers and distributors.
Oh, well, we've got a latecomer that's asking a really controversial question. I'm a little late to the party. Has the anti-MQA stance been addressed? No, because we don't do anti-MQA, because I just don't care. If you dig MQA, there's this great service out there called Tidal. You should go try it. But we don't do MQA, and no, we didn't do any controversial talks about MQA, because I don't do controversial talks about
everybody
MQA.
Has choices, David, in this life. You choose what you want for whatever reason.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is, but it never come to these sessions thinking that we're gonna bash another form of files. We just won't do it. We hope we've got a bunch of music lovers here, and we hope that you all end up at the service you need. Some people would be, very, very happy with Apple or Spotify or Tidal, and those of us that are real music lovers and want to get that nth degree. If you're into Qobuz, we welcome you, and we personally think we've got the best sounding service out there, but there's a lot of good services out there, and you'll never hear any of us trashing any of them. God bless them all. The main thing is, if you're listening to music, that's the most important thing to us, because at some point we think that the people that are listening the most intently will end up with us anyway. So, listen to what you want to listen to. Have fun with it. Listen to a lot of music. I don't care what resolution that you're in. Make it, listen to things that make the little hairs on the back of your neck stand up.
Yeah.
Listen to things that make you cry. Just listen to music, no matter where you're listening to it. We'll always love to have you at Qobuz, and I know as far as Auralic goes, they would always love to have you as a customer as well. What are is there anything that we've left out that we should have talked about? Anything coming up, early next year that you want to talk about, or
No, I mean the only news we really have is we're beginning to take orders and ship the Sirius G2.1 upsampler, but it's definitely not a product that you would just purchase if you were just getting into streaming, because an upsampler is something that's a few levels away from just getting yourself into streaming. So don't worry about that now. Just worry about the
that used to be a really nasty term, but it's turned out that there are some companies that are doing an excellent job at upsampling. I just got one of the DCS DACs. And I was talking to Jesse Luna, and he was talking to me a lot about upsampling, because my experience with upsampling was from a while back, a few years back, and it was more people trying to market bigger numbers than it was to get a better sound, which I was just totally against. But these days, really, the technology has gotten to a point, like a lot of digital technology has, it's sort of come into its own, and it really does improve.
Well,
I'll be looking forward to that.
Jesse is 100% right on that. We, with our upsampler, it's really a product that's geared not towards getting something that's low res to be super high res. It's more about taking a digital signal and understanding what kind of a DAC you're going to be going into. And once you discover that, this is a DAC that does better with DSD because it was made, within the last 5-6 years, and DSD is obviously how these DACs are being geared right now, as opposed to another type of DAC topology, then you prepare the signal with a good resampler or upsampler to go into and optimize whatever the DAC chip is you're going into. So like you said, it's really not about, I want to get, 32384 out of this sucker. No, it's more about optimizing the signal before it gets to the DAC. And you do that, and you are going to get some pretty good sound. So, but
totally agree with that.
But again, it's not step one, right? Every digital product that we're going to buy right now, like an Altair G1, they all have sampling technology on board, because they have to take a digital stream and basically process it. But you can separate out, once you get into G2.1 and you start, I want to reference master clock, I want a streamer only, I want a DAC, and I want an upsampler. That's when you get into really specializing and using our Lightning Link proprietary technology. All that stuff comes later. For now, unless you already have it. If you already have some of this stuff, yeah, man, go read Sirius G2.1. We put it up on the website this morning. So
yeah, I'll be looking forward to it. I'll also be looking forward to seeing you guys at the next, or the first show after the pandemic.
Yeah, the pandemic passes. Yeah.
Richard, your Christmas lights went out.
Did they really? Yeah, they're on a timer.
I thought it was that tumor acting up again. But yeah, thank you for letting me know that I'm okay. I was starting to sweat just a little bit.
They put another 50 pence in the meter in the slot. Yeah.
That's Richard politely saying, "I want to go to bed, guys." He pulled the plug with his foot.
Hey, that's okay, because we don't care. We'll keep Richard up all night long. I thought we were going to have a pint after this.
Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? I can't remember the last time I did that, actually.
Yeah, I can. Last week, I think it was with Rune. I'm not a drinker. I don't do it. I'm a total social drinker. I never drink by myself. So last week, I had Enno from Rune on, and he said, "Well, let's have a drink." And I thought, okay, well, why not? So a buddy of mine last year bought me a bottle of scotch. I whip out, the bottle of scotch, and I'm kind of sipping on it. It starts getting good to me after about 30 minutes. And I got to tell you, man, the next 3 days, I felt horrible. Tell my wife, I am no good at this. I've got friends that can just do this all day long, but I'm just not any good at it.
You lack discipline.
Discipline. Oh, and we've got our buddy John Cork, who just graciously, we had John on not too long ago. What an incredible guy. Johan asked if he could give you 50 pence to to get your unit to come back on. But guys, it's been really good having you. Richard, thank you for staying up so late with this.
It's good to just have a chat and talk things through. It's been really good, and we should do it again sometime. Let's do it again next year. Be delighted to.
Well, we'd love to too. We're looking forward to our continued partnership. Be sure to listen to the Auralic playlist, and then let's see. I was just asked something by. I'll.
It's the final track you have to listen to.
Okay, yeah, I guess we should address this. There was one question on here that. Okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and answer this just while we're on the thing. It doesn't really have much to do with you guys, but there is some MQA on Qobuz. If you know where to find it, look for the 2L label. There is, in fact, some MQA on the list because 2L will only deliver an MQA. So it's not like we've made a commitment, but to get the music, that if you do want some MQA or want to know why it's there, that is why it's there. 2L only delivers in that format. So we need to ask if we wanted to go over that while the question was up there, because I know a lot of people have got it. So we'll go ahead and, get that over with. So guys, thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. If we can do anything for you in the meantime, please don't hesitate to ask. Everybody go to Auralic and take a look at their streamers if you're looking for a step up unit, and please check out their playlist on Qobuz.
Thanks, David, for having us on. It was
thanks,
awesome.
David, and thanks to everybody for watching, and Merry Christmas.
Yeah, thank you.
Merry Christmas. Neith, I think you can go ahead and take us off.
Take us off.